Hey guys, welcome to the next video. I'm from Salesforce Sales team, and today we're gonna be taking a look at how SOAP integration works in Salesforce. In the last video, we looked at REST integration. We implemented it using Postman as well as the HTTP request classes in Salesforce. We're gonna do the same thing today for SOAP integration as well. And again, for any references, you guys should be able to go to our website, go to Learn Salesforce section, and then here search for the SOAP integration in Salesforce topic from the left hand side in the navigation bar. You can use anything mentioned there as a reference, and you should be able to implement it out pretty much easily. Now, moving onwards to the SOAP integration. SOAP integration differs in the REST integration in a way where the REST integration used an service URL endpoint, and then we had the headers, and then we had the body. So that is not the case with the SOAP integration. The SOAP integration wholeheartedly works of something called the WSDL file. And this WSDL file is in the form of an XML file. So instead of providing someone with your endpoint URL and your headers, you just need to provide them a WSDL or WSDL file, and then they can consume the WSDL file in their own system. Alright, so let's go together. So first, we are gonna go in the reverse order actually for this SOAP integration. We are gonna expose our services first. I'm just doing this for the purpose of this session. On the website, it's mentioned as consuming first and then exposing next. But I want to do this because so that we have real example. So, okay. The first thing you need to know is we use the connected apps in the case of REST integrations to do your authentication for Salesforce. If you want to do authentication for SOAP API or provide an external third parties a way to authenticate with the Salesforce system, you need to give them this WSDL file for your existing system. So where do you find that WSDL file? You go to your org, click on API, and you will be able to find this API right here. You click on this. So I just opened this up. Let me just refresh it. It didn't load for some reason. Okay, here it is. So once you open this page, you'll see the link for all your different WSDL files in your system. The most common one used are the above two, the enterprise WSDL and the partner WSDL. The enterprise WSDL wants to build organizations. This is useful when you want to build integration with this particular Salesforce organization only, since this WSDL contains all the metadata of your org as well, like the objects and everything. If I click on this link, it'll ask me what package version I want to use, and I click on the generate. So it just generated out the whole XML file for me. It takes a little bit of time, but here you can see it's still generating the WSDL file, and that WSDL file will show up as an XML file right here. Okay, so here it is. This WSDL file contains all the information in your org. As you can see, this is quite a big file, but you can provide this, you can store it as right click and save it as an XML to your local system, and then provide this WSDL file to external third parties, which will use this WSDL file to authenticate with the Salesforce system. Now, similarly, you can also generate a partner WSDL. So a partner WSDL is a more generalized version of an enterprise WSDL, since it does not contain any metadata in your org. So this is a really shorter version of your normal WSDL file, and it gives you all the required information for authentication. It does not necessarily contain all the objects and every schema inside of it. So basically all you need to do is generate one of these two visual files and then provide this to a third party provider who's going to use these and call these or consume this file to do an authentication with Salesforce. Now, once you are done with like generating this visual file, so once you are like able to provide them this authentication way possible, right, then we need to move towards like exposing your own Apex custom classes. So you can use this web service keyword here, which can be used to like define your Apex classes, which can be called from external third-party systems. So you'll do it like this. So let's say I go back to my org, create a new Apex class, and I click on the new. So I'm going to use this class here as an example, where I'm just going to name it my exposed soap class. Then you see this web service method here. So this web service keyword needs to be used in any of the methods that you want to be able to be called from outside your Salesforce organization. You use this web service method here. In order for you to use the web service method, your method should be static. So we're just going to build out this Apex method here, which just returns a hard-coded hello string. So I can save this class. After I save this, if this has like the web service keyword, it shows up here as the generate visual button. So you can click on this, and then you see it gave me this XML file here in order to be used, right? So I can like save this file, and then along with my external partner visual file, I can also provide this file to any third-party providers, and they will be able to call this method right here. All right, so this is how you expose your REST, your SOAP APIs. I'm sorry. Now moving onwards to the second part. The second part of this would be to like expose or not expose but consume any SOAP APIs in Salesforce from the system. So it works in reverse as well. If you want to consume any third-party SOAP APIs, you need to have like the visual file for that API with you so that you can use it and then call it from Salesforce. How do you use a visual file is really easy. Go to Apex classes. You are able to see a button here called generate from visual. Click on this button. And then it asks you for a visual file from the system. So I'm just going to go ahead and attach the same visual file that we created in the example that we did last. That was for this particular method. Even though this visual file is not supposed to be called from Salesforce, but I'm just going to do it for example's sake. So let me go ahead and attach that file here. Alright, so I have now attached the XML in here. So I attach it right here and I click on this parse visual button. So right now it went through fine. There were no errors in the visual file. So it is now asking me for an Apex class name. Let's say I name it as my soap consume. Then I can click on this generate Apex code button. And you see that it created Apex classes for our visual file. So let me open this main class here. So as you can see, this is an Apex class which allows us to use that SOAP visual file and call this API. So now, how do you actually use this? It's pretty easy. I can open the developer console right here. Like this. Then in here, you will actually see the method name, which is right here. This is called test soap. Right, so you just need to call this method in here to call your API. So you'll do something like control V, define the instance of this class, which is this one, mySoapConsume vj equal to new mySoapConsume. And this format is based generally different for each VSD class, but since we have an inner class in here, right, which is also used for this, so I'm actually going to create an object of that inner class like this. Then you can call the method here. You can call this method right here, testSoap, and then pass whatever value it requires. And simply by doing this, you should be able to call any SOAP API methods from any files in your system. Pretty easy. It's definitely easier than REST. The only thing you need to keep in mind is if you have any errors while generating this Apex class, then you need to sort those errors out in your Muslim file. Alright guys, so this was like a really brief introduction to how SOAP API works in a Salesforce, and I guess it should help you out. If not, you can find more references on our website, and I'll see you guys in the next session.